Hello everyone, we are the group 2 and we are on the episode 1 of the talk about Philippine literature under the Republic. I am Melanie Mallorca.
And I am Rica Costillas. But before we will going to talk about our main topic for today, we will going to first have some motivational activity or
To make you relax at home
yeah.
or for those who are watching us online.
Yes, and so this game is called the charade. I guess you're familiar with it. And we have 2 papers, and we don't really know what's inside of this because we let another person to prepare this for us. And yeah, for today we're going to play first, rock, paper, scissors. Of who's going to play first. How to do this?
Two words? English? What? You, Rika. Heart? Okay. Like? Rib? Heart? Circular sources. You, me, I. 2 words. 5 syllables? 5 syllables. I. 1. 2. 1. Oh my god! 2. Peace? 2. Finger? Oh my god! I didn't know this! 5 syllables, 2 words. 2 words. 1 words. 2 words. 2 words. 2 words. 4 finger. What? Point. I. 2 words. 2. Wow, 2. 1.
You, ano? Surrender.
Pass.
Yeah, so she passed and she didn't know, she didn't guess what word I have because
What is that?
she's telling that 2, 1. It was meant for the first word. And I guess
What is this?
it's self-discovery. I mean, the first word and the second word, but you're always saying 4 finger.
Where's mine? Wait. So, it's my turn. Ready?
2 words. 4 syllables. I see the world. Round. Huh? Round. Belt. Zipper. Button. Zipper. Jingle. I see. Two words. What first word? What? Eyes. Two word. Second. I see. 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 Eyes. See big. See. See. Second word. See. Fist. Round. Punch. Close open. Close open. Close open. Flower. Bloom. Bomb. Bomb. Explode. I don't know. Eyes. I see. I close my eyes. I can see the world is. I see. I explode. Two. Second word. Ice. Explode. I was born. I close my eyes. I close. Oh, I open. I open the. I openly. I openness. I opener. Yeah. So I got it right. I am the winner. And
I hope you enjoy our games, even though yeah, it was not really. I don't know. Anyway, thank you. So to start with, do you know that the situation of the Philippines during this period in 1942 is that we are being occupied by the Japanese?
Yes. It was obvious that we are colonized by the Japanese for 3 years, and it was really devastatingly painful because of the war that caused many deaths and the plummet of our country's economic status, which resulted for the Japanese to retreat and leave the country.
And that was also the time in 1945 that the United States of America gave freedom to the Philippines, and soon after in 1946, the full independence was granted.
I see. So that was also the time that Manuel Rojas was the first president of the Republic of the Philippines, right?
Yes. However, after the independence, there are still many Americans who stayed in the Philippines, and as far as I remember, we are colonized for 48 years, I think.
Yes, it was exactly 48 years, and the fact that the effect of the colonization still lasts until today, just like how we are influenced by the Western culture in terms of our OOTDs, that instead of we are wearing our traditional Filipiniana, we are wearing jeans and t-shirts, and also in the aspect of literature, most people were engaged in reading American novels just like us English majors.
Yeah, I still remember when we are required to read The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini.
Yes, that 1,000 times over.
Anyway, because of the colonization, there are also anti-American movements that had gradually built up over the years.
So to know more about the Philippine literature under the Republic, let us welcome our special guest for today's episode, Miss Archel Amorim.
A round of applause, please. So, hi, how are you, Archel?
So far, I am very well today. I am just a bit nervous somehow because
Also, I am also excited in a way that we were going to talk about the highlights of our past that reflects the present generation. So please spare your time with us because I am about to have a rich and interesting conversation with these two lovely ladies beside me.
Oh, it's flattering. Anyway, so we've heard that you are a literature student who is tackling a Philippine literature. So can you tell us something about the characteristics of literature under the Republic?
Yes, the characteristic of literature under the Republic. Well, first, the English and Filipino language are dominant in reading, writing, and in their communication as well as their mediums.
Archel, I totally agree with that statement because right now English language is already considered as the universal language, and that's why also maybe we're catching up with the idea of it.
And also, the vernacular language or the native dialects for us to understand our oral lore and traditional literature, which is now slowly fading.
And it's so sad to have that. Yes, I'm also seeing the transparency of it as we are continually progressing in the aspect of literature. Yet, I still love the fact that writers or the authors were still using vernacular dialects as one of the medium for our oral lore.
Yes, Melanie, considering that it is really much of a good way to know how to be oriented that we are restraining the legacy of our very own country. Next is being romantic and revolutionary. This characteristic really became one of the main theme of the most writings, and this is where Tagalog series and romance novels started to be published, just like the Precious Hearts romance. Like, did you read some of their novels?
Yes, oh my god, I was so obsessed with PHR way back in that time, and remembering that now, it's still good.
So you're a fan of those novels, yet you're
Yeah.
still a hopeless romantic.
Oh my god, why did you have to say that? God,
The poems that time also were very romantic as they were greatly affected by the war. That is why they were associated with love and dedication for their countrymen. And this continues to reflect in the lives of Filipinos, social realities, and injustice.
And if I am not mistaken, it was also the time of the martial law. So during that time, writers were free to write whatever they want, even criticism against the government. So can you imagine that? That they are free to write anything without feeling fear and facing the consequences.
Yes, and I think that was what gave chance for the writers to show whatever they really feel towards the government at that time.
In relation to that, in the wide range of literary themes that are mostly related to existentialism, actually,
Existentialism? Do you mean about having a person's free will to do anything for their own development?
yes, that is. So, people on that time, the writers and authors on that time were inspired to the real happenings inside the country. They are writing based on what they have seen and what they have experienced face to face and how they feel towards the painful reality of our country.
So just like what Jose Rizal did during the Spanish colonization era, right?
Yeah, I think. Oh, the existence of No Limitang Here and El Filibusterismo. Oh, could be, could be. And that is bravery, no? Because I can imagine myself being a bold writer like that.
You're both in a Josephinian magazine, right?
Yeah.
So, will you do the same thing like those writers?
No, no, no. I still want to live and die peacefully.
I agree, Melanie. We may be cowards, but we rather endure the cruelty of the world rather than experiencing it, the cruelty on us.
Yeah. So, torture forsaking us, please.
Yeah, I understand your sentiments, and I am still pondering of whatever should I be on bravery side or the cowardice. We will really never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also in addition to those informations, I think I have read some literary works in that time of literature, and we can really see the deception and violence of the predator, and let us just put it with that term.
Also, with the life experiences of OFW, the aspiration of freedom and love of God, love for the country and for the fellow Filipinos.
So it was not just all about the negativity and bad things, no? Love really conquers all.
Just like Maria Clara and Crisostomo Ibarra.
Yes, and there was also critical theories that are present and have greatly provided framework for the writers and critics.
And I hope these critical theories give more life and meaning to the literary works than just, pointing every flaws and what is against the principles of the critical stories.
No. Actually, these critical theories really help the writers, and so what you have mentioned, they give life and meaning to different literary pieces.
So, these critical theories, you mean, is Marxism theory by Karl Marx and Friedrich included?
Yes, Marxism is part of those critical theories.
Oh, so I see. So, the division in two classes, the rich capitalists and the workers, so is still present in literary pieces on that time.
Together with historicism, modernicism, new historicism, and mostly the new criticism.
Oh, that's a lot of critical theories. Reason why these help every literary works to have a life.
We can actually observe these critical theories and how this affected in a literary piece.
You will give us a sample works from the literature under the Republic?
Sure, it is okay though.
Yes, you might as well include the authors, perhaps. We know them? Yeah, we sure know them, I'm sure.
Are you familiar with Amado V. Hernandez?
I think I've heard him from our Philippine literature class, that author who wrote the poem Isang Dipang Langit or Stretch of Heaven, right?
Yes, I think in that time also, Hernandez is imprisoned. So basically, the poem tells us about the pains, the sufferings, and the hope of a prisoner. So the poem Isang Dipang Langit was written during his imprisonment. There he understood his suffering inside the prison.
Yes, and the reason why he was imprisoned was because his involvement in the communists.
Ooh,
I see.
nice.
So you mean that poem signifies an urge for freedom that he felt inside the prison, since the theme of that poem is on the level of nationalism, anxiety, injustice, and tragedy.
So, let's try to read the poem for them so you can also join us. Okay, so here it goes. Ako'y piniit ng linsil na puno, hangad palibhasang diwa ko'y piitin, katawang marupok anya'y pagsuko, damdamay supil na't mithiin ay supil. Ikinulong ako sa kutang malupit, bato, bakal, punlo, balasig ng bantay, ubos na tiwalag sa buong daigdig, at inaring kahit buhay man ay patay. Sa munting dungawan, tanging abot malas ay sandipang langit na puno ng luha. Maramot na birang ng pusong may sugat, watawat ng aking pagkapariwara. Sintalim ng kidlat ang mata ng tanod, sa pintong may susit walang makalapit. Sigaw ng bilanggo sa katabing moo, anaki at tungal ng hayop sa yungib. Ang maghapoy tila isang tanikala, nakalakalagkad ng pangmadugong, ang buong magdamag ay kulambong luksa, ng kabaong waring lungga ng bilanggo. Kung minsay magdaan ang payak na yabag, kawil ng kadena ang kumakalanding. Sa maputlang araw, saglit ibibilad, sanlibong anino iniluwa ng dilim. Kung minsan ang gabi biglang mabulantang sa hudyat, may takas at asod ng punlo. Kung minsay tumangis ang lumang batingaw, sa bitayong muog may naghihingalo, at ito ang tanging daigdig ko ngayon, bilanggo ang mandi libingan ng buhay. 10, 20, at lahat ng taon ng buong buhay ko'y dito mapipigtal. Ngunit yaring diway walang katakot hirap, at batis pa rin itong aking puso. Piit ay bahagi ng pakikilamas, mapiit ay tanda ng di pagsuko, ang tao't bathala ay di natutulog, at di habang araw ang api ay api, tanang paniniil ay may pagtutuos, habang may Bastilya at may bayang gaganti, at bukas diyan din aking matatanaw sa sandipang langit na wala ng luha. Sisikat ang gitong araw ng tagumpay, layang sa salubong ako sa paglayang. So after reading that poem, we're gonna dissect the poem to understand it deeply. So for the first stanza, what is your own interpretation, Rika?
For me, the first stanza talk about how he was accused and ends up in jail, the way he surrendered and became a prisoner.
So the second stanza discussed his situation where he was jailed and the treatment that he had.
Okay, so for the third stanza, I think he described what he saw from his jail, only an arm stretch of sky that somehow adds to his sorrow.
And the fourth one depicted the guards inside and the prisoner's hardship because of them, while the fifth one described their whole day situation inside the prison.
So the sixth stanza talk about their experiences outside and the feeling to be free from the four walls of the jails just for a while.
Okay. And the seventh described how other prisoners try to escape and disturb the peaceful night they have.
So, however, in the eighth stanza, he concluded that being in prison is his world. And in 10, 20, or more years, he will spend his entire life in prison, the cemetery for the living.
In the ninth stanza, though he was a prisoner, he still considered it as challenge. He still seemed to be hopeful.
And the 10th stanza described life is a wheel. Not all the time, the sufferers will be in the bottom. Time comes that they will have the revenge they want, and the last stanza talk about the freedom that he will have someday. How he will not experience the sorrow that he had inside the prison.
So overall, the poem wanted to tell the readers to have that courage to face life's challenges, learn how to fight for our own rights, trust yourself and what you can do, believe in God, and most importantly is the sense of nationalism. We should love our country and always fight for the freedom of our nation. We experience a lot from the past, so these serve as our motivation for pursuing for the freedom that we want. We can't deny right now that we're not that independent in terms of decisions for the welfare of the country. There would be external forces that somehow dictate our own government. So is it okay for us to go back being prisoners of our own motherland?
Yeah, I think
Not able to exercise our freedom and dictated what to do by the colonizers?
I strongly still disagree with that.
So in line sa munting dungawan, tanging abot malas ay sandipang langit na puno ng luha. Do we really have to wait to experience against this? Or we should continue to fight for the freedom as dreamed by our heroes in the past?
Yes, of course. Definitely, we cannot just set aside the freedom that our heroes gave to us. We should continue to fight for what is ours, for what should have been ours, because we are not just a Filipino, but we are a Filipino. Remember that. Anyway, there is not only Amado Hernandez who brought pride to Filipinos. There are also a lot of literary figures like Lazaro Francisco.
Oh, so he's the one who wrote Bayang Nagpatiwakal.
And Constante Casabar.
The Paniling Tula ni Aga.
I think that was written by Alejandro Abadilla. The one he wrote was Dagiti Maring Iti Parbangon.
I see. How about Ako'y Isang Tinig?
It was Genoveva Matute.
A
Additionally, there are also Macario Pineda, Alberto Florentino, who wrote The World is an Apple, and other prize plays than Kirima Pulutan with his stories, Tony Perez with Hoy Boyet, and Bumbita Paul Dumol, who wrote Ang Paglilitis ni Mang Serapio. We have also Emmanuel Torres with his Angels, Fugitives, and Shapes of Silence. Also, Nick Joaquin with his notable piece, The Women Who Had Two Novels, and NVM Gonzalez for his Season of Grace, and Bamboo Dancers, Bienvenido Santos with his works, Your Lovely People, and my brother, Ricardo Dimitelio with Barter in Panay, and Wilfredo Noliedo for his Spot for Lovers.
So indeed, these literary figures have contributed and have a great impact on our Philippine literature. They contributed to our history, give justice to our culture, and help our literary aspect to be known and to be remembered.
And that's all we've got for you. Let's do a quick recap under this literary period. What is Philippine literature under the Republic is really all about. As we all recall from the history, the war caused devastation to the Philippines and left scars among Filipinos' hearts. This was the main reason why Filipino writers openly wrote about nationalism, oppression, violence, injustices, and poverty, which makes the Isang Di Panglangit by Amando Hernandez and Gabino very notable literary pieces during that period under the Republic. To sum it up, Philippine literature under the Republic is all about the experiences of the Filipinos after the war and under the martial law, the hunger for change, and the hunger for the true freedom.
And we are leaving you with this quote saying, a liberal education is at the heart of a civil society, and at the heart of a liberal education is the act of teaching by Barlet Diamante. Thank you for watching us and see you in our next episode. Bye!
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the Benz.